Hello, everyone, and welcome to today's program, Top AI Tools You Need in Your Toolbox. My name is Kara Marsh Profit, and I serve the University of San Diego as the Director of Alumni Operations and Engagement. I am also a proud USD alumna from the class of 2004. Today's session is co-hosted by the USD Alumni Association and the Knauss School of Business. In a moment, I will introduce my colleagues who will present this lifelong learning program. But first, to my fellow alumni joining today live or watching the recording, know that the good work you do in your communities, in your boardrooms, in your church halls, and in your living rooms make our alma mater proud. Thank you for representing USD so well in your daily lives. The mission of the Alumni Association is to engage and enrich the Torero community for life. Today's program aims to deliver enriching information from one of USD's best and brightest faculty members. A few housekeeping items before I hand off the mic. We are using Zoom webinar today, which means you get to sit back and enjoy the broadcast. Be sure to use the Q&A feature to pose questions and or upvote other questions posed by our fellow alumni. This session is being recorded and will be posted to the Alumni Association's YouTube channel next week. I will be sending you a post-session survey to fill out. Each response will be read as we aim to continuously improve our offerings to alumni. Without further ado, I'd like to bring my colleague Bridget Breitenberg to the screen. Bridget serves USD as the Assistant Director of Alumni Relations for the Knauss School of Business and may just be one of the best human beings at Alcala Park. Bridget, take it away.
Thank you so much, Kara, and I do appreciate your comments. Welcome, everybody. We're very excited to be offering webinars again, and we've heard from so many of you saying this is such a great format and easy to do on a Friday during lunch. So we will keep them going. I am also a proud alumna of USD, and very happy at this time to introduce our speaker today, Professor Daniel Lin. Daniel is the Associate Dean for Faculty and Operations. He is also Professor of Operations and Business Analytics. And Daniel has been leading the Knauss School of Business's strategic initiatives around AI, including its use in teaching, research, and supporting student success. So at this time, I'd like to welcome Daniel to begin his presentation. Thank you, Daniel.
Hi, Bridget. Okay, here I am. Thank you, Bridget, and thank you, Kara, and welcome everyone. It is my pleasure to have this opportunity to share a little bit of my experience with AI. I know this is a topic that has been evolving extremely rapidly, and it is barely possible for anyone to catch up with all the updates almost weekly. So today my purpose is to share with you some of my use cases and my experience using some of the AI tools. I have been trying and playing with different AI tools, and I recently found some tools that are very useful in my work, in my life, and would like to take this opportunity to share that with you. I'm by no means the top expert in this field, but I probably have some use experience, and that's my purpose to share with you, and hopefully that helps you today as well. So without further ado, let me share my screen, and you probably see my screen, and I'm going to give you a little overview of my plan today. So today the purpose is to introduce some AI tools that I would recommend everyone to have in their toolbox. So I select three tools I'm going to go over with. I have been using ChatGPT for some time, but recent development in Claude has really made some major changes in the way I use AI. So I'm going to introduce two things in Claude, which is Claude Code with Chrome, which is a Chrome extension that allows Claude to explore websites live, just like human beings. And the second one is Claude Cowork, and I will explain what it is. And the third tool I find very useful is Notebook LM. If you are using it, that's great. If you have not used it, I'll explain why it is such a great tool. So those are the three tools I'm going to focus on. What I'm going to do is to give you some quick demo on how I use it, so that you can get an idea. Okay, well, why are they great? And then I'm going to wrap up this conversation with some larger potential applications of AI and agentic AI in other business settings. I want to share with you that I put my material. There's some prompts and material for this conversation, and they are available on a Google Drive over here. This is a public Google Drive. I'm going to use the files in that drive for today's demonstration. If you happen to have Notebook LM or Cloud, feel free to work with me, or right now or later on. Okay. So without further ado, I'm going to just jump right in. I'm going to quit my presentation and really, okay, let me share my screen now. Just bear with me. Okay, let me share my screen now. Okay, so today's plan. Okay, so the first thing I want to talk about is this Cloud Code with Chrome. Both the first and second items, I think they were just launched early this year in late January. So these are the tools that are barely just 2 months old, but they are amazing. So the first thing is Cloud now has a Chrome extension. It only works on Chrome. So you're looking at my Chrome right now, and if you install it, you will see it has this little thing over here. I can call a panel over here, okay? And what does it do? Well, you know what? You probably know Gemini, Copilot, but they all have similar sidebar like this. But this is really agentic. What is different here is it does not just read what you're looking at on the website. It can take action. I'm going to give you an example. Very simple one. You know what? Let me pretend that I have a task. I put it here. So I would like you to, you know what, go to Amazon and find the top 5 most popular management book published since 2025. I'm interested in new books that are relevant to just management. I wonder what are the top 5 sellers, and I would love Cloud to kind of, yeah, summarize them in a spreadsheet. That's pretty much what I say over here. And let's see what happens. Now I submit that request. What it will do is, okay, it realizes, all right, you're not just asking me to say summarize this page, that kind of small task. You're asking me to perform some actions. So what it will do is first communicate with you the plan. Here's the action plan he come up with based on its understanding of your prompt.
Excuse
Okay.
me, Daniel. May I
Yep.
just jump in one moment, please? We seem to be looking at a different screen. It's
I'm
just showing
sorry.
us, yeah, thank you so much.
No problem.
And thanks to everybody for bringing that to our attention.
Got it. All right. Sorry. Let me check that. All right. Do you see my browser right now?
What we're seeing is the home screen for Canals. It says lighting
Yes.
the way.
Okay, that's correct. And do you see on the right hand side there's a little pane?
Yes, we do.
Okay, that's what I'm talking about. Let me enlarge it a little bit. Yes. Okay. Okay. So how I get here is you need to install a Cloud Chrome extension. You can Google that. It's easy to find that. You download that, and then it's literally a Chrome extension. And now I'm just using the Chrome extension over here and give it a prompt. And then following the prompt, it gives me a plane. So one feature I really like about Cloud is when it recognizes that you're giving it a complex task, it will come up with a plan telling you what it plans to do. Do you approve it or not? Okay, if you don't approve it, you can make changes. Let's say I say, yeah, I approve this plan, and let's see what happens. I'm not doing anything. Everything that's happening right now is entirely done by AI. You can see my mouse cursor is not moving because that's controlled by me, but the page is now going to Amazon and they start to take a screenshot. Okay. it will take some time. I tried this out. It is not super fast, to be honest. You'll see some actions, but honestly, for this kind of task, so far the speed of execution is probably not much faster than human beings. If I want to perform this myself, I probably will do something I can do something faster. However, if you're thinking, well, if this is a large scale operations, and you probably will spend hours to do, you know what, this is a good chance that just leave it to AI. Okay, so you probably get the idea. While it continues to run this on the background, I'm going to move on to the next example. For now, I'm going to just put it aside. Put it aside. Instead, I'm going to bring up Claude. This is Cloud Desktop. Bridget, can you double check? Can you see my Cloud Desktop on the screen?
Yes, we can. Let's knock something off your list.
Yeah, no, this is actually something I want to talk about.
Yes.
Thank you. Okay, so let's maybe switch our attention to this one. This is Cloud Desktop. It is available on both Mac and PC. I'm using a PC, so this is a PC version. You can use Claude on the website, just like ChatGPT or Gemini. That's fine. But Claude also has a desktop app, and I find it pretty useful. And this is what I'm using. In this tool, you have ordinary chat, just like any ChatGPT or chatbot. Sorry, it is taking some time. Let's give it some time. All right, okay. You can chat, you can just ordinary chat, but what makes it special is it has co-work and code. So code is apparently for coding. Also the scope today, but I would like to talk about co-work. Co-work is really an agentic AI. So what's the difference between just LLM and agentic AI? In short, the typical AI LLM is simply the chatbot. It talks to you, converse with you, and be able to generate a or Word document for you, but it does not take action. It does not take action. Okay, it cannot. A typical LLM does not browse website, just like what I show you. It does not do anything with your files. Okay, but co-work is an agent. It can. Okay, so let me give you an example. So first, this is my co-work. I'm going to tell it which folder I'm working under. So I will select a folder from my computer. I already have some option. I'm going to choose one of them, and I can just tell it what I want to do, what I want it to do now. Okay, so for example, let me give it another task. In this case, you know what? I have a little different task. I say, you know what? I would love you to go to Zillow, okay, to find rental properties under $3,000 per month within 2 miles around USD. Let's say I'm trying to do a property survey. Uh, Please save your findings, including monthly rent, in an Excel file. Add a column where on whether the property is within 10 minutes walking from USD. Okay, that's my instruction. I wanted to do some real research on real website and summarize the finding essentially. Okay, let's go. So you will see on the right hand side it has a little plane. Okay, it's still thinking, comprehending what I'm, and you will see a little progress over here. And this step will take some time. I'll let it do for some time. Okay, so now another thing I like about Claude is it asks for your permission a lot. Okay, right now it's about to open the browser. It asks you, hey, can I browse Zillow.com? And then can I take actions? All right, so I give it permission to take actions. Okay, it is starting to work. Okay, so I have to, okay, so actually I'm switching my browser right now. I'm opening up, okay, it's changing, it's zero. Okay, I didn't do anything. This is entirely done by AI. It is browsing just like a human being. Okay, let me sit for a little bit. My point is, you see, it's a little bit slow. It is comprehending the content slowly. And also by, oops, okay, I just turned, okay. Okay, it is now trying to, okay, realize the zip code for USD is 92110. It enters USD zip code and finding the listings, and it will just keep going. Okay, so I'm just going to leave it there. And by the way, my Amazon thing is still going on. It is still working on it. As you can see, it takes some time, but just let's just leave it alone in the back end. So one thing about Claude is it will show you its thinking process, and you'll see what it is doing right now. Okay, it's search USD address and now find out, oh, it's 92110, so it's using it as a zip code. It's working on it. This whole task will take about anywhere from probably um, 20 minutes to complete when I first tried it. For the purpose demonstration, you know what? Because I need to move on to, I want to show you another thing. I'm going to stop it for now. Okay, I'm going to just stop this work. Instead, I'm going to show you what it generates. Okay, because it takes probably 20 minutes to complete. For the sake of time of this webinar, I'm just going to just skip the process, pretend that we already completed. So this is the folder I shared with you earlier on. This is a folder that contains everything that I'm going to share. So there's a sample outcome, and this code work will create an outcome like this. It creates a spreadsheet, and let me show you what the spreadsheet looks like. Okay, this is entirely created by Claude with this prompt. That's it. That's really 2 sentences, and it's not very detailed. Okay, conceptually you get it, but it doesn't contain too much detail. And look at the outcome. Okay, property name, address. I didn't say you need to put address. Zip code, bedroom type, minimum rent, maximum rent, because some are apartment complex, so there are different prices. Distance from USD, and if you think about this, it's quite impressive because I said, well, basically you need to tell me the approximate distance from that for that property to USD. If you think carefully, that involves, well, you need to know the address of that property and probably use Google Map or whatever to find out the distance and then put it here. I didn't say anything about that other than I need a distance. Okay, it complete that. Is it within 10 minutes walking distance? I asked for this column, so it has one, and also the Zillow link. Very detailed. Not only that, what impressed me about Claude is the level of detail in human being-like thinking. For example, here, listing, it sometimes has a footnote. Okay, here he has a footnote. You kind of define, okay, what does it mean by walking 10 minutes walking distance? It say, well, that means roughly 0.5 miles because people walk on every 3 miles per hour, blah blah blah. So it's very methodical, and it show you its logic. Okay, so that's one thing that impressed me, but it's not it. I have a purpose of showing you this spreadsheet. Let's take any given spreadsheet. Claude take it one more step further. Claude also has an Excel add-in. Okay, so I already added here Claude Excel add-in, and slowly, if you click on it, it will bring up a dialog. Okay, let's give it some time. Take some time to. All right, here you go. Okay, Well, you probably have seen something similar from, let's say, Copilot. What really impresses me about Claude is its capability of comprehending and actually do stuff with spreadsheet. I have tried just giving it a description of a spreadsheet model and asking it to create a whole financial analysis. I'm going to tell you it's pretty serious and impressive. So just to give you an idea, let's say here, okay, here's the data. But you know what? I would like to do some very preliminary analysis. I want to create a visualization, let's say a scatter plot. I would like to see the relationship between, let's say, the minimum rent versus the distance from USD. Okay, so I'll say create a scatter plot for, okay, so the mean rent versus the distance from USD. And I also want you to add a filter on, let's say, bedrooms and whether it's within 10-minute walk from USD. Okay, that's it. All right, that's my little prompt just to show you here. Very simple, one line. One line. I want a scatter plot between two things, and then I want to filter on two things. Okay, and now you start to comprehend the data. The ability, its ability to comprehend data, just like human beings, understanding the context, it is quite amazing. It is quite amazing. I find that I'm using it to a point that I'm literally like talking to my graduate assistants, like talking to a person. I make some notions, and it is able to make some reasonable human-like comprehension on the context. And I don't need to I don't need to explain too much about what this data is. I'll probably give a very high level overview, and then it can do the rest. Okay, you can see it's working, it's thinking more. It also, okay, it runs into some trouble. It will try to troubleshoot itself if it needs to access certain API, website, or tools. It may ask you for permission. Okay, you see, okay, I didn't do this. It does this entirely on its own. Okay. Okay, well, this one, I probably select something, so it only shows one dot, but I can ask you to redo it again and revise it. So basically, I can do any revision over here, and it will do the analysis. Okay, so that's another thing I want to share with you. This is very useful. Claude Excel. I used to use ChatGPT. I will tell ChatGPT, oh, cell A1 is whatever. I need you to do whatever and store the outcome in cell K1, for example. Nowadays, I don't do it anymore. I just do it over here, and it will do everything. Okay, so that is my first example. The co-work. This is a Claude co-work. I want to take a little pause and just check in. Bridget, I wonder if there's any questions so far? Any comments?
There are. This is so fascinating, Daniel. Thank you so much. I'm just astonished. There's some questions around. The first question was the different AI models, and I think you're talking about that now. The second one, if it's a website that requires a login, such as Airbnb, can you store your login info with Claude? Some other questions along those lines for the co-work functions. You are demonstrating, let's see, sorry, it's bouncing around a little bit. For the co-work functions you are demonstrating in Claude, can it access sites, services that would otherwise require my login information. For example, in the Zillow example, I can imagine a real estate agent would want a similar search by Claude that can access via MLS. Is that possible?
I believe accessing with your login is possible. I have not tried. I have not tried it because I'm a little bit cautious. Because that give you it access to your a lot of information. I'm pretty sure it's available because another demonstration I didn't show you today is I actually asked Claude to clean up my I'm subscribed, there are a lot of spam in my email, I don't know how they get my email, and then I start to receive a lot of, promotions, things like that. I'm pretty sure everyone has those. I gave Cloud, the Cloud Chrome extension an order, basically clean up those unsubscribe, go through my email that I have not opened in the last 3 months and unsubscribe them. So it does that. So that's when I give it access to my email, and you will do that. So I'm pretty sure if you give it credential, it can do that.
Okay, and then this next question along those lines, how do you contain restrict the access that Cowork has to your computer?
Yes.
Are there
Okay,
set up admin settings that can be maintained based on the type of task and the level of access you want it to have to your computer?
that's a very good question. Let me touch on that right now. So let's say, okay, this is a new instance of Cowork. So it only have access to the folder you give it access to. What I skip here is the initial step. You can give it specific files or here folder. It's a different folder, and it only allows you to choose a folder under your profile in the system. So for example, if I choose a folder, my PC, I have a different Google Drive, whatever. Well, now it doesn't work that way. Okay, I'll say this one. It's not under that. It may not give you access. Okay, so bottom line is it only work on the folder you give it access to. So you need to be careful on what folder you want it to access. If you are trying to be safe, you better just create a folder, just put in things that you're comfortable for it to kind of play with. Otherwise, you don't really need additional system setup in your computer. I hope that answered the question.
Yes, and then there's a question around what made you choose Claude versus ChatGPT versus Grok, etc.
Yeah, this is the main reason. The co-work. Right now, it's primarily this is the first main reason. Co-work does things. They are not just. It's not just chat. I'm going to show you another amazing example momentarily. You'll find out. So that's the main thing. The co-work, the agentic feature of co-work. Second one is code. We don't have time to talk about it. But if you have time, I strongly encourage you to play with Claude Code. Okay, just give you an example how cool it is. I yesterday I out of blue I'm thinking about asking it to create a first-person shooting game on a browser on a website just for me, for fun, and that's it. Okay, it does that. Very cool. And when I say I create, it's not really not I created. I give it a prompt and I do not create any single line of coding. Okay, it generates the whole thing. It will give you a plan on whatever, and it will debug itself, and it is really amazing. So if you have a chance, I strongly encourage you to play with Cloud Code yourself. Even if you know nothing about coding, it doesn't matter. It is to almost to a level that you barely need any coding knowledge to code. That is real. Okay, so that's another reason why I use uh, Cloud Code. So I think
That's
those are two
incredible.
main reasons. Okay.
Yeah. And then does Copilot have similar capabilities as Claude since it's built into the Microsoft Office suite?
I doubt it. I'm not super familiar and confirmed about that answer. Probably to some degree, but for sure not to the level of first. capability. Second, you ease UX thing. Claude is the first part. You know what? I'm guessing other platform will probably launch something very soon. Again, this thing is only 2 months old. Uh, Claude with this kind of co-work where you can just conversationally assign actual work to it.
Okay,
I'm not sure.
great.
Yeah.
And
But
then the question, does using Claude in the browser run slower because of my computer's CPU, or is it
no.
just inherently slow?
Yeah. It actually takes quite some token to run those things. It is not your computer CPU. It's just inherently uh, the way it is. For example, the Amazon example I showed you earlier is still doing stuff. It's still uh, actually it is still working. So it that's what I'm trying to show you. It takes some time.
Yes. Here's a question about when you were talking about unsubscribing from junk email. The concern is that the unsubscribed links are often false, unsubscribed links that lead to opportunities of exposing your computer to viruses. Would the AI tool be able to identify that to keep you from inadvertently being infected by a virus?
Good question. So the unsubscribe thing I described was not looking for that not going to that unsubscribe link in the email, whatever. If you have a Gmail, you'll notice that on the top there's a unsubscribe button in Gmail. It is not the content of the email, and that's the one I'm talking about. It's a function. It's a feature from the Gmail, not I'm not talking about the unsubscribe link in the content of the email. Just to clarify.
Okay. And then, do you notice Excel analytics to be best on Claude? In my experience, ChatGPT is not great at Excel analytics.
So far, I feel Cloud is way better, but I want to make it clear. Uh, I think AI is very good at creating some preliminary analysis, graphs, visualizations for preliminary. I want to emphasize the word preliminary. It can summarize high level observation quickly, but if you really want to delve into it with a very complex data set and find out the relationship with a lot of moving factors, I'm not sure if the AI is there yet. Maybe it will be there, but at least so far, I have the level of analysis is not the. I still feel that that's a room where human experts are still better than AI. If the analysis is more complex. But for
Okay.
daily use, ordinary people use, creating a couple of figures, highlight some main trend, things like that, AI is very capable.
Hmm. Thank you, Daniel. One more question and then a comment. This last question is, can you describe how it works to support creation and or professional edits of slide decks?
Oh, that's a good question. Slide deck, I have limited experience to be honest. What I use them for mostly is if I will use the AI to summarize the information. Maybe I'm preparing a subject, and I'll use AI to help me create gather information. Once the information is gathered, I use it to create outlines. Honestly, I don't use AI to create slides. I use them to help me create outlines for my slides, and I create the slides on my own. The AI created slides, usually there is still more work, more adjustment I need to make. So such that I feel eventually I still find that just creating myself is much easier. But they help me organize the thought. I'll give you a prompt. Maybe I'm preparing a workshop and I need some slides for this whatever workshop. I'll use it to brainstorm. Okay, so I give it a description on the workshop, you create a flow. Okay, slide number one, you talk about this. Slide number two, you talk about that. Blah blah blah. It gives me that structure, but eventually I still create those on my own. So
Okay,
it's
great.
a help, but it doesn't take over my work.
Mm. Somebody has commented that Present AI is helpful for slide deck creation. Use Claude or ChatGPT on the presentation strategy and outline. So that's present with a Z.ai. And then another comment was, I've used Claude to create iPhone apps for fun, calculator and Tetris, and used it to generate a mortgage calculator as well as a car lease payment calculator, Excel. So those were just some comments. And now we're caught up, Daniel, if you want to
Thank you.
continue.
Those are great examples. Yeah, cloud can do that all for you. Now I want to show you one more thing, which actually encountered in my work, and I find that this is really a cool and good demonstration of its capability. So I have a folder called syllabi. So what happened is, uh, part of my work is, USD. So we offer our courses, and as part of my job, I need to collect syllabi from professors. So I will have a list of syllabi. Okay, this is just for demonstration. For example, a semester, maybe I have so many courses, different course number, section, and just title, and I need to collect syllabi from those professors. And professors send me syllabi in in Word or PDF. Okay, so I have several syllabi over here in this folder as an illustration. And I instruct professors to, hey, you know what? Please name your files in certain way, just like this one. So it's econ 31601. So I know it's the course number and the corresponding section. And as you can imagine, then someone can manually, okay, link that file to, oh, it's this one, and okay, so this I have syllabus for this course. Okay, you get the idea. It's totally manual. There's no other option. Someone just need to manually compare the file to this list. Okay, it's manual first, and second, there's a lot of problems. Okay, so uh, for example, people don't necessarily follow the instruction. They don't name the files the way you want it to be named. For example, you see like this one, it has a different naming format, and sometimes maybe the file name doesn't match with the content. Things like that. You can imagine there's a lot of human errors. So what is amazing is I'm going to show you how to ask Claude to do this for you. Okay, so I have a prompt pre-created over here, which I'm going to copy and paste it to Claude. So let me call up Claude. Now co-work. I'm going to give it to, okay, this is the folder. And here is my prompt, just to share with you. Okay, this folder contains syllabi of a school, and this whatever file is an input file that contains a list of course sections offered. Most syllabi are named in the format such as this and this. Okay, I'm trying to explain. Oh, here, this is the course number, and the 0102, this thing means sections. I'm trying to explain the context. All right, now here's your task. Please look for syllabus for each course section in the input file. Compare course information in the input file with the content in the syllabus. If a syllabus cannot be found, mark yes in syllabus missing column. Okay? Save output in a separate output file that includes today's date in file name. That's it. That's my only instruction. This is kind of like how I would describe the work to my human being graduate assistants. And my point is, it's kind of you get it, but there's a lot of details that I did not really specify it, such as how do you treat those errors or those exceptions. I didn't say anything about that. Okay, let's go. This thing will take about 2 minutes. Okay, you start to work on it. It is loading various skills. Okay, while it is working on it, I'm going to point out some plant traps. Okay, There are some traps here. So, um, so, so this is the list I provided. Courses are the ones actually have a syllabus, okay? And those 4 actually do not. So we already know the answer basically. And let's see if AI can perform the task correctly. Not only that, there are a couple of problems. I didn't share this with AI. So we're building landmines and see if AI will catch them. For example, this course, the file name format is actually incorrect. It doesn't have a section number. And this one, actually, the course number in the syllabus file itself is incorrect. And this one, the file name is also not following the format I want. And this one, course title in the syllabus does not match the title in the input file. So my point is, you see, there's a lot of problems. Okay, it's intentional. Okay, so it's not as easy. If you're a human being, you will notice them, but it just takes time and a lot of tedious work. Okay, so that's the heads I'm going to show you, and now let's see how it goes. So again, code work also always give you a agenda, progress. Okay, this is a master plan where we are. All right, it actually have completed reading the files. It's getting close to generate the output files. Let's give it some time. And by the way, in each folder, it creates you can create a file called instructions, claude.md. Okay, it's empty right now, but you can put the prompt over here and save it if you want. It will simply save as a claude.md file, which is simply a text file of your human language prompt. Okay, I think it's going to finish very soon. Okay, actually it completes. It completes. It completes. Okay, here's the outcome. It's saved as an Excel file. You can preview here. This tool is not very easy to preview, so I'll just open up that Excel. I'll open that Excel file it just created, and I think it's this one. Okay, so look at what he found. What he found. Syllabus missing. Those are no's. That's the correct answer, and these 4 are yes. Yeah, that's correct. And look at again how detailed the spreadsheet is. It's very thoughtful. It has all the information. It also has okay, discrepancies, notes, what kind of error it finds. Well, I'm not going to read the details, but my point is it kind of point out most of the mistakes correctly. Okay, it didn't point out the mistake here, but that's fine. It correctly identified. Yeah, there's a syllabus. Okay, so I think that is very amazing. And by the way, it kind of summarized here. All right, if 4 are missing, there are discrepancies it identified, and the details. Oh, the file name. It has a file name, but the content is another course. It make a judgment. The file name appears to be a typo. So this is what I found. When it finds a problem, it will make human-like judgment or common sense. It will make a judgment, just like in this case. It finds out, oh, the file name is different from the content. Which one do I go with? You based on the context and decide that, you know what, I think the file name is wrong in this case. I should go with the content. I think this is quite amazing. I didn't tell it anything about this, but you kind of have this kind of intuition trained behind. So that's what I'm trying. It has human-like intuition. Without much instruction, it figures those out and it complete the work. So that's another example I want to show you. So my bottom line is, if you have some manual work on your computer, this is an example. I think this is a huge room for efficiency improvement. It's repetitive. It needs some little judgment calls, and it can be automated with minimum prompt. Okay, so that's my second example. I'm going to take a pause here and see, Bridget, is there any question or how is there any question or comments?
I think, there's a question around like cloud cowork as a paid service.
Yes.
Let's see. Uh, there's a comment about why they like Claude so much better. Jeff points out if for students and faculty on the call that you can get Perplexity Pro for a year and then $5 per month. So that's for our students and faculty that are on. I think there are more or less comments right now.
Okay, thank you. Okay, so
Hmm.
those are very good comments, and I also learned from those comments as well. Okay, so that's Cloud Cowork I want to share with you. That's my second tool and becoming one of my favorite tools, honestly, recently. Um, I probably let me spend 5 minutes on the third one. I think this one is getting more popular right now. Notebook LM. So Notebook LM is offered by Google. It's free. Cloud Cowork, you need to be on the paid tier to access that. Notebook LM, the biggest feature is it is almost hallucination free. It's an LM, but it only answers questions or analyze information based on what it is provided to you, what you provide to it. So I'm just going to give a very hypothetical example. We have a conflict in Iran going on. Let's say I'm trying to understand how recent war in Iran affect oil supply and how countries and major companies address it. Let's say that's what I'm trying to figure out. I want to have some really quick on that. So I can easily throw this to any LLM, collect a bunch of websites. That's okay. But what I'm trying to show you is, okay, once you have that, what can you do with it? So Notebook LM looks like this. It's free, everyone can use it. You just Google Notebook LM and let's create a new notebook. Okay, so it started off with providing it information that you wanted to focus on. Okay, this is a key feature. It only analyze or summarize things based on what is provided, what it is provided. You can provide a great variety of data source, files, links, YouTube, Google Drive. That's all fine. Or if you don't have anything, you can simply ask it to search. Okay, so for example, I can let me pull out my little prompt. Okay, so let's say I'm trying to understand how the recent war in Iran affect oil supply and how country and major companies address it. Let's say that's it, and you can just okay, it's researching website. It can generate some sources for you. Okay, I'll let it do its work, but for the sake of preparation for this workshop, I actually have already identified a bunch of sources. Okay, so it completed research, it identified various sources. You can review them, okay, and determine which one you want to include. Let's say I like, yeah, these are all good. I want all of them. And by the way, I happen to have a bunch of web links already. I'm just going to copy paste them here and import them. So all my point is I'm building a knowledge base over here. This is the source of knowledge. This is the source I allowed it to take into account. It's digesting information. It is still working on it. And then I can start to chat. It summarized what it summarized all the information here, and it is just every LLM. I can start to chat and ask a question. The cool stuff is I can select which file or files I wanted to use in its analysis. Okay, still it takes some time to include all the files, and then I can start to say things. summarize main strategies adopted by companies, okay, something like that. Okay, so I find it super helpful when, for example, there's a new regulation by, let's say, government, there's a new regulation, and I simply need to know the key essence or how it will primarily affect us. I will simply upload the policy document and simply chat here. We'll basically ask AI to read the document and tell me things I really want to know. Okay. What makes it really cool is over here. You probably see that. You probably have heard of that. You can create an audio overview, a video overview, things like that. It's quite amazing. So it takes some time to generate those media. So I'm going to just jump right into another notebook LM I already created for the same purpose. Okay, so it looks the same, but already have some media created. I'm just going to play one video for 5 seconds. Just give you an idea what it looks like. Okay, just give me a second. I need to share my screen with all. Share sound. Okay, I need to share my sound. Okay, so you can if you can create a video.
Let's look at how one regional conflict can shock the entire global economy. Our story starts here, in one of the most critical and vulnerable waterways on Earth. Get this, a fifth of the world's entire oil supply passes right through here.
Okay, I'm going to stop there. My point is, you see the video, there's slides, there are people voice, it's all very human-like. It's a summary video based on my prompt. Okay, the quality is quite amazing and it is still improving. And you can see the prompt I gave it. It's literally one line. Summarize how war in Iran affect oil supply and what are some major categories of actions countries and companies have taken to ensure oil supply. That's one line prompt. It creates a summary. You can specify the length. Where do I find it useful? You know what? Sometimes I have new subject I need to learn, and I just don't have time to read all the news. So I will collect all the relevant information to create a knowledge base, and I create an audio overview, only audio, and it becomes my little podcast. I listen to them when I on my way driving to work. I just open it on my cell phone and play it. That's how I use it to kind of keep me informed on various knowledge. Just a use case for your consideration. So this is the third tool I want to talk about. It's super useful in my opinion. So these are the three main tools. I want to take a pause before I kind of wrap up our conversation. Bridget, is there any questions so far? Any more questions?
Yes, Daniel, two questions and a comment. The first one is any advice on how to write effective prompts?
Yes.
She wants to learn how to sharpen her skills there. And then the second one, how much time do you spend checking that the output is accurate with these tools? And then the final comment, just a concern around that AI may eliminate many traditional entry-level roles that historically have served as training ground for young professionals. And so the question is, how is USD preparing students to compete in the job market where AI may automate much of the foundational work of
Yeah, that's
entry-level employees?
well, these are very big and yeah, good questions. Let me get the first one. How to create good prompt? You know what? Nowadays, I find the best way to create prompt is to ask AI to create prompt. That sounds funny, but seriously, give you an example. Let's say I want to create a. This is literally what I did yesterday. Let's say I want to create a person shooting game, whatever game, Tetris or whatever. Create a prompt for cloud. Okay, I'll have typo, that's fine. Cloud code to generate a first person shooting game on browser. Nowadays, I used to talk about some prompt engineering skills, but nowadays, you know what? I just find that it's easy. It's just really just like this. Give LM a task to create a prompt for you, and you will. If very my point, the point of showing it is their prompt is very thorough, and I just go back and revise whatever I find fit, and then this will be my prompt. So that's the answer to the first question. Um, I forget the second
The
question.
second one was how much time do you spend checking that
Oh,
the output is
yes,
accurate?
yes. Quite a lot, to be honest. It it I it I sometimes I cannot check all of them, but I usually will take a little subset to just to check and see if they are they are correct. And sometimes they are not. So yes, it's an iterated process. Sometimes it's very apparent that there's something wrong with the output. It just doesn't make sense, and you just simply go back and give it more prompt. It can be an iterative process.
Great. Thank you, Daniel. We are just about at time, but there was that comment about, how we are preparing our USD students. I almost wonder if we should have a follow-up session with you, Daniel, but maybe you can take a stab at that.
No problem. Let me give you a 30-second stop. AI is important, and we're preparing student for this. Our principle is we're not banning AI because that's really not possible. But the approach we take is we challenge students to use AI, but as a foundation. But AI is just the beginning. We will have more expectation from students. For example, you need to generate a report. You need to write a report on whatever. My approach, if I were teach a course, my approach would be you're okay to use AI as long as you cite it, and it's okay to use AI to generate your initial draft or something. But what I like to see is where do you take it to the next level? What is your value? You with AI, it gives you some foundation, but you need to be able to critique and also elevate the output. So AI so far has been a great productivity tools. Our focus is to teach students how to use AI to elevate the quality and expectation of your work so that you will remain competitive in this marketplace. And so far, I believe we are on track to deliver that promise. Okay, I think we're at time. Thank you.
We are. Wow. I put it in the chat. My mind is blown, and I cannot wait to start checking out Claude. And Perplexity was mentioned in one of the audience additions to the Q&A. So thank you to our Toreros. I did put in the chat a link to our survey. Please do not leave before you check that out. Provide us some feedback. It'll take you all of 15 seconds. And make sure that you check out our upcoming webinar series. We have 2 more in this particular series. If you want that 3/4 zip, you have to actually register and attend these 2 subsequent sessions that are scheduled. The next one for April 17th, and that link is in the chat as well. And a very special thank you to Lowell McAdam from the class of 1983. He's an MBA alumnus for his generous donation to endow the McAdam Alum Lifelong Learning Fund. This fund provides high quality business learning opportunities to our alumni using the experiences, research, and expertise of the USD Canal School of Business faculty like Daniel Lin. Thank you all. Have a wonderful afternoon and go Toreros.